Hello, and welcome to Mesquite Living Waters Fellowship's Wednesday's Word Series. We invite you now to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's message.
I've been wearing glasses since I was in the 7th grade. I don't usually wear them when I'm doing work up close because I'm nearsighted and I can see fairly well out to about 4 to 6 feet. I need them for distance, but not at close work. But when I was in the 7th grade, I sat toward the back of the classroom, and one day I noticed I could no longer read what the teacher was writing on the board. Now you're supposed to tell the teacher when this sort of thing happens so he can move you up to the front, because we all want to sit up front next to the teacher, right? Instead, I just asked my friends what was on the board. Eventually, my parents found out, and they took me to an eye doctor. I had the eye exam, and then came the time to pick out my glasses. I really wanted wire rim glasses. They were popular at the time, but they were expensive, so I didn't ask if I could have them. Instead, I chose some black plastic ones that I didn't like that much. They were those kind of Drew Carey looking glasses. I never found out if I could have gotten the ones that I wanted because I didn't ask. If you don't ask, you won't know. When what you want is offered to you, if you don't accept, you won't get it either. I wanted a communication system for my motorcycle, so I picked out a kit for my bike, and of course I had to buy extra cables for my passenger. The parts manager gave me a choice of a straight cable or a more expensive coiled cable. I bought the coiled one because I liked it better. I thought, with the way it retracts, there won't be a whole lot of extra cable flopping around on the bike. Then I looked at what was in the kit, and I noticed it only came with the straight cables. The manager offered to exchange the cables in the kit for the coiled one that I wanted. But I didn't want to accept his offer because I felt it wasn't fair to him, so I did without. Actually, my wife did without because I used the coiled one and she got the straight one. Now, there's a window of opportunity about gifts and asking for what you want. My older brother was a historian and an archivist by profession. He was researching the family history, and somewhere he found a distant cousin named Anna. Anna was about 83 when we met. My brother got to be good friends with Anna. She had a lot of old furniture in an old house, and my brother loved antiques. Now, she offered this old furniture to my brother because she didn't need it, and she knew he'd like to restore it. But my brother would just tell her, "Oh, Anna, I don't want to take your stuff." Now, he would have loved to have it, but he didn't want to accept what she was offering. Anna said something to him about the house, and he told her that he would like to buy it. Anna told him not to worry about it, that we'll just see what happens. Now, Anna had an appointment to see her attorney on a Monday. That, I assume, was to change her will and to leave the house and furniture to my brother. She got sick on Sunday and went into the hospital and died on Tuesday. My brother wrote to Anna's nephew, who inherited everything, asking to buy those things that Anna wanted to give to him. He never got a response to his letter. So that window for those things that he wanted was closed. Now, there are 3 things to learn here. 1, if you don't ask for what you want, you won't get it. If you don't accept it when it's offered, you won't get it. And if you wait too long, that window may close and you may never get what you wanted. Now, the reason I bring these things up is because they're all mostly gifts, and God has given us all spiritual gifts. Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians 12:31 to earnestly desire the best gifts, and he tells us of a more excellent way to achieve those. Now, the Corinthians were proud of their spiritual gifts. They were using them all the time. Only problem was they weren't using them correctly. Their attitude was all wrong. And they were seeking higher gifts, but they didn't go about it the right way. Now, Paul's list of spiritual gifts in chapter 12 of 1 Corinthians is pretty well known. I won't go into them here. But did you know that there are gifts listed in the book of Romans, also in chapter 12? You may have read these and not realized that they are spiritual gifts as well. Paul tells the Romans to use their gifts to the best of their ability. Notice that serving, giving, and encouraging are listed right along with prophesying, teaching, and leading. These are all gifts that are spiritually enhanced by God so that people do them at an exceptional level beyond the normal. Now, Paul says to achieve these gifts by giving love. That's what 1 Corinthians chapter 13 is all about. Loving your fellow man, loving the body of Christ, loving God. Paul shows us that love is the way to achieve the gifts that you want to receive. In actuality, who are these gifts for? It's not the person who prophesies that receives the gift. It's the person to whom the prophecy is spoken. It's not the person who has the gift of healing that receives the gift. It's the person who is healed. And it's not the person who has the gift of giving that receives the benefit of the gift, but the one who accepts the financial and material aid. Each one of these gifts is an act of love toward the person who receives them. But you know what? They also bless the one who gives. It's so cool because it's a dual blessing. The giver and the receiver both receive blessing from God. Now, we all have spiritual gifts, and Paul is encouraging us to use our gifts, to develop them, to seek higher levels of gifts, and to excel in what God has called us to do. You might think, I just want the fruit. I'm not interested in the gifts. Well, Paul admonishes us to earnestly desire spiritual gifts, and especially the ability to prophesy. And one way to express the fruit of the Spirit is through the use of the gifts of the Spirit. And if you think Jesus isn't serious about spiritual gifts, look up and read the parable of the talents. That might be an eye-opener for you. Have you ever watched this old sitcom called Everybody Loves Raymond? I mean, it was a favorite in our house. We've got all 9 seasons on DVD, still in the TV cabinet, and we still pull them out and watch them once in a while. My wife says every episode of Raymond has a life lesson in it. Well, in one episode, Raymond is in his mother's basement helping her with the laundry, and Ray pulls a bed sheet off of what he appears to be a large pile of dirty clothes. Only it wasn't a pile of dirty clothes. Under the sheet was every gift that Ray had given to his parents for years, still in the box, still unopened. Ray was dumbfounded and understandably upset. How do you think Jesus feels when we don't open his gifts? He knows what he's given us. Maybe we don't. But he wants us to seek it, open it, and use it. He's given it to you as a blessing. What blessings are we missing out on because we don't open what he's given us? Now, if you don't know what your gifts are, ask Jesus to reveal them to you. Talk to your church leadership. They should be able to help you. There are also resources online that can help you determine what your gifts are and how to use them. It's like with the Corinthians. We need training to use our gifts and to use them well. Oh, just like any tool, if you use it incorrectly, people can get hurt. Now, the body of Christ needs our gifts. The world needs our gifts. We honor God when we use the things that he has given to us. Above all, as Paul taught the Corinthians, and using our gifts, love should always be our motivation. And if you're wondering, back there is a pile of wire-rimmed glasses. So I eventually got them, and I wore them for many years. God bless you.